Hello, welcome back to another Wisdom Wednesday. Y'all need to know I had to practice this, and I don't know why it's such a tongue twister. Anyway, today we're going to talk about when to speak up and when to be silent, and just the value of getting older and getting to know, like, when something actually requires you to speak and when something requires your silence. Um, like I was recently going through something where I was like praying to God, and like I've recently come to a place in life where I feel like I have I have got my voice back. And then there was a situation that happened, and I was like basically this situation is that like something was put on me that was untrue, and I wanted to speak up for myself because when I don't know if it's just me or if like we can all like agree that like there are times when someone says something so egregious that is about you and you're just like what is this? And this is not the first time that has happened to me, which is thinking about it now, it makes a lot of sense why like this has happened to me, because this is part of my lesson that it's happened to me several times before, and every other time like I've just been like, no, I'm going to speak up for myself. And I think that in this time in my life, it is definitely like something that I've learned in relationship, and I've learned in just in life in general, like when it comes to career, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to romantic relationships. Like sometimes you literally have to pick your battles, and picking your battles looks like either being silent to the person or environment or situation that you're in and praying and leaving it on God's altar, versus you like thinking you're out here being God's warrior and you're standing up for what's just and what's right, and being like, no, like you will not get me confused. You will not like speak this thing on me, or you will not think this thing about me. Because let's be honest, a lot of the time we're speaking up because we think that we can change people's opinions of us, when that actually is not true. It's not true that you can. There are certain situations where you will encounter someone and they're just going to think whatever they want to think about you. There's nothing you can do to change that person's opinion. What I'm saying is that basically some people are just going to have an opinion of you that no matter what you do, it's never going to change. And like, again, this is something that's reoccurring to me. And a lot of these situations, like not former me, but younger me would be like, okay, I'm going to go in here and prove to them and show them like who I am. But as I got older and grew, I realized that a lot of the time when people have these like thoughts and ideas about you, if it's not like their own prejudice, like it's them projecting on you something that maybe they have seen, like they've seen in someone else, or like have experienced from someone that seemed like they were like you. I can't like pinpoint because it's different for everybody. And even the situations that are like coming to mind for me, like the situations and the people that were involved in the situations were different. Like one was a situation where there were like romantic feelings involved, and this person just like said something that was so like out of line with who I am, and I'm just like me, like why would you think that I would do that? And there's another situation where the person didn't know me at all, and this was we'll call it a familial relationship, or like a family friend kind of situation, but like they didn't know me. They knew someone else that that I was close with, or like someone else that I was like family with. And there were, just opinions of me that were put on me because of previous situations. And I went into both of those situations saying like in the first one, like, hey, like, me, like, why would you ever think that I would do something like that? Why would you think that I would even say something like that? Because like, as many conversations as me and this person had, you would think they would understand what my voice sound like, what the words that I would use in a situation like that sounded like, or something, or understand like how that was just not my character at all. Um, and in this other situation, like, it was just more like me trying to put my best foot forward and like really just try to show this person like, hey, this is who I am, just by like being authentically me. But in both of those situations, the person just like kind of wanted to do whatever they wanted to do. And it wasn't until, at least in the second situation, that I decided that it didn't matter what I did. This person is going to think whatever they want to think, because like, it was never about me. It was always about like something else that had nothing to do with me. um Excuse me. So in all of these situations have in common the fact that like, I truly do think that more than not, and when I went to like find verses in the Bible that tell you when to speak up versus ones that tell you to, choose your words carefully, and don't speak too much, and like, don't do too much when it comes to words. It it really set in stone for me that like, even biblically, God wants us to not talk so much. He wants us to listen. He wants us to come to him. He wants us to understand that a lot of the times, again, these situations, they don't have anything to do with you. Like, and it's really crazy that like, even like this past week, I was sitting there thinking, and like, I was on the phone with my mom, and I was like, Mom, I really do feel like a lot of these times where people have made like comments that like have been detrimental to me, or things that I've like taken to heart, that I didn't understand where it was coming from, it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with something that either happened to this person in the past, or like some kind of prejudice that that person has. And like, it really blew my mind just thinking about how people will tell you like all the time, you can't, not that you can't listen to everybody, but like, just the fact that like, when someone gets upset with you, it really don't have nothing to do with you. And it's really hard. I get it. It's really hard not to take that to heart, but doing your best to try not to, and let it go sooner rather than later, will do wonders for you and your like self-esteem and your ability to like recover and bounce back from different situations. And I think like, just the sooner you realize that, is the sooner that you can get through your healing, the sooner that you can move on from these situations. So what I think I want to do for the verses this week, because I have like 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, I have 8 verses this week, because I really wanted to reiterate like all of the times that like God like talked about speaking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pick a few of them that like really stood out with me, and I will tag the rest of them in the caption so you can go and read it. And what I might do is just like put the words down there so you can read it, but you can also like study it. And now the majority of these verses, actually every single one except for one, came from Proverbs. So like when I tell you, I was like going through this and I was like, man, Proverbs really be having it got a lot of good stuff in there. So like if you trying to figure out like, or not even figure out something, like if you need some advice, like sometimes Proverbs be the one. Like it just has like, it has an answer, or not an answer, it has a scripture for like almost every situation. And there's literally 7 scriptures from Proverbs that I found that talk about how to use your words and like just different aspects of that. So let's start. I'm going to start with I guess the ones in the back because I really like those. So Proverbs 15:1 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. And all of these are New Living Translation. Proverbs 15:4 says, gentle words are a tree of life. A deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. And this one really goes along with 15, but Proverbs 18:21. I know this one is a popular one. This is one that I think of often before I speak. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. Like the power of life and death is in the tongue. Okay? So like, I'm going to read this last one. And this is another one of my favorites. And it's James 1:19. And it says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. So I'm going to tag the rest of the ones at the bottom, but this is just near and dear, like as someone that loves to talk, just thinking about the power behind words and how we talk to people. It's always best to come through with the love. And if you do not have that spirit of love when you want to tell somebody, when most of the time, if someone's misunderstood you or someone has said something that is not truthful about you, you're not coming with a spirit of love. And I went and let me look. I don't remember if I wrote this down, but if I didn't, I will tag it. But there were some verses that I found that spoke about when to speak up, and they all had to do with standing up for somebody else. So most of the time, if someone is saying something about you that's untruthful, or someone has an opinion of you that is not truthful, that is not the time that you stand up. The time you stand up is when you are hearing these things being said about somebody that you know to not be true. So if someone's being talked about in a wrongful way, or someone is, going through like a situation that is unjust, that is when you speak up. Those are the times that I saw in the Bible where it says for you to speak up and stand up. That it's not about self, but how you represent and love on other people. That's when you speak up, because God will speak up for you. You don't have to speak up for yourself. In those situations, every situation, where people, and in this final situation, I'm still waiting on it, but I got a glimpse of how God is showing up in the moment to stand up for me, and in my time to be silent. Like with this last situation, this is the last thing that I'm going to say, is that I prayed to God and I said, God, I don't want to lose my voice in this situation. I don't want to make it seem like I'm afraid to stand up for myself or speak up for myself. And he said to me, do you want your voice or do you want your peace? And God knows I want that peace. I want the peace to be like, this ain't got nothing to do with me no more. I'm letting this go. And like I tell you, it takes me 20-ish minutes to get from work to home. By the time I got from the car, finished the prayer, drove home, walked to the door, and he said, do you want your voice or you want your peace? I said, oh, let me shut up. Because he said, if you want your peace, you got to be quiet. Silence sometimes is the answer to the question. And if you want your peace, you got to be quiet. And that's where we're going to end today, y'all. So I hope this helps somebody. And like I said, it's difficult. I'm a talker. But sometimes that silence, it'll hit you. That piece, like, girl, you just be walking. Okay? So, and guys, sorry, because I know some guys will be watching too. But yeah, I'm going to put my tags for my YouTube. I haven't started posting on IG. Y'all let me know if y'all would prefer or not, or if TikTok's good enough. But for right now, I've just been posting on YouTube and TikTok. Like, subscribe, favorite, do all the things. Comment, please. Let me know some of the things that you guys are dealing with, and I'll pray on it and see what God reveals to me. But I hope y'all have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.